She was murdered in front of her house.
All right, guys, we're here in Romney, West Virginia for a protest for Debbie Edwards. And here we're with Mackenzie, and we're going to ask her a couple questions about what exactly is going on here down the street. So first off, who is Debbie, and why is there a huge protest down here at the courthouse?
All right, so Debbie was my mother-in-law, and she also had played a huge role in raising me growing up due to some parental issues I had personally. She was the most loving woman anyone in this town would agree. And unfortunately, on June 15th, as she was walking back from the dollar store across from her house, somebody had gotten impatient, and as she was standing in the turning lane to cross, had used the turning lane to pass and had ran her over, and she was initially pronounced dead. The people fled the scene, and officers have opened an investigation, but they're withholding every bit of information possible. I don't know, we've called down several times, and even the secretary, they won't appoint us to who needs to be appointed to, as far as like the higher ups, of which officers are in control of the case and in control of the investigation. They do know who did it. They know the make and model of the vehicle. Unfortunately, for some of the family members, we have seen a video of it, and you can see where the person had just got impatient and fled through. I mean, there was no stopping whatsoever, no initial, like, oh my God, what did I just hit? A lot of people have been saying, you know, oh, maybe she thought she hit a deer, but at the end of the day, if you personally hit a deer, you're going to stop and see what damage is done to your vehicle, correct?
You would.
And
I think any reasonable person would.
It's been brought to our attention by several different instances that they do know who it is, they know the vehicle, they know all the information, but they've withheld all information from the family and said that we would know upon public release. And that's just not sitting right with us.
Yeah. So they're not telling even the family anything, really?
No.
I think the fact that...
That's her daughter, I'm sorry. That's her actual daughter.
So we've talked with a lot of the family, we've talked with a lot of the community, and it seems like she was a huge part of the community, and that she would give her shirt off her back if need be, even if she didn't like you. So, like, I mean, just why is, like, what do you think the reasoning is behind why the police department here in Romney, West Virginia is not saying anything whatsoever? Especially if they supposedly know who it is, they know the make and model of the car.
Well, even me personally, I've ran into some of the state troopers, like, it's just like the local convenience stores, and, you know, I've tracked them down and just asked face to face, like, hey, you know, why aren't we knowing anything? And their reasoning, or even an excuse to some, is that, you know, it's for the safety of whoever did it, in a sense. You know, they're trying to protect that person, because who's to say that certain family members or certain people in the community wouldn't have a negative reaction to the situation, in the sense of, you know, possibly even going after that person if it was released before they were in custody. And I can understand in retrospect why they might do something like that, but to not even give any sort of information, or, for instance, you can get on, we have a local Facebook page called Eye on Romney, and any person, especially like elderly people in the community, first thing that happens, you know, why the power's off, where the lightning struck, and which store just got robbed. I mean, that's, everything's posted there. And unfortunately for the family, there's been several pictures of different things posted there. There's been probably roughly 6 different names dropped, and the only information that has been consistent is that it's all been female names. We do know that.
That's interesting.
But all we know is that she allegedly works in the courthouse.
Okay.
And I think that plays a significant role as to why information might be withheld as well.
That's very interesting. That would also explain why there's a huge crowd of people down here at the courthouse as well.
Yeah.
With signs saying justice for Debbie.
Yeah, I do believe that it is being covered up, regardless of if she is just some little old lady that didn't know if she hit something, or if maybe it was somebody that was intoxicated or impaired in any way. You know, you still stop when you do something.
Oh, absolutely.
It would have been, you know, in my opinion, a type of closure if the person would have at least had the human decency to stop, but immediately fleeing the scene and the cops knowing that you had to have, you know, turned off from either this road or this road because your vehicle was never picked back up on the next known like street camera, tells me you know what you did and now you're hiding.
That's
And
definitely what it would look like. That's for sure. But
yeah,
I find it very interesting that they haven't arrested anybody, even if they know the make and model of the car and they have a pretty good idea of who it is, if they don't already know who it is.
and that's why I think it comes back to the fact that the rumors that are going around town, and it is a small town, you know, stuff does spread fast. You take something and run with it. But the fact that they're saying that it is somebody that cleans for the important buildings. Apparently, she used to clean for the deaf and blind school and possibly even the magistrate office itself. I've also heard rumors that it's a cop's wife or it's a magistrate's wife or it's somebody's this and they were drinking and driving for this reason. You know, there's been so many different speculations and so many different rumors that have got back to us. It's making it difficult for the family to have any type of closure with the situation. And all we want, as you see on the signs, is justice for my mom.
That's just incredible, and it's very saddening the situation that's going on here in Romney. And then I have another question that I heard from some of the other protesters down here, and that was the crime scene itself and how that was handled with just everything after the fact. Do you have anything that you want to bring up in that? Because I don't want to put too much online if you don't want any of that information to be public, even though it's kind of is. But
yeah, no, I'm perfectly comfortable with explaining that. So, being that she was, you know, I hate to even say the word, but it was, you know, it was murder. She was murdered in front of her house, leaving the Dollar General in town, her Family Dollar. And being that it was directly in front of the turning lane, you have to use the turning lane to turn into where she lives, depending on the direction you're initially coming from. And the blood splatter was left on the road for several days. They said that it had stained, but it was such a significant amount of blood loss, and the family not only had to drive through it to turn at some times, but even just coming from the opposite direction, you'd have to look and you'd have to see, you know, for me personally, it's my mother-in-law, the woman that raised me, because my mom wasn't around as much, or for, you know, several of the grandkids. I couldn't even tell you how many between her son and I. There's just 5 alone, and then all the other siblings have either some type of animals that they consider a grandchild or children of their own. And, you know, the kids would have to go through and they have to see that. And then, of course, all of her biological children herself, everybody that goes through the community, you know, they're seeing this murder scene. They're seeing this person that is so near and dear to everybody's heart in this community, people that, you know, she has raised, that she was a friend to, a family member to, or just somebody to talk to in a tough time, even if you never seen her again. She was such a godly, lovely, beautiful woman. And everybody has to see that initial mark on where her life was unfortunately taken on June 15th of 2026 this year.
And I think that, because I heard the exact same story from some other individuals up there, and I think just the whole handling of the situation, even after the fact, with the stains in the road and everything, is just absolutely sickening. And I mean, the response from the community obviously seems like everybody wants justice. Everybody wants a response. I mean, you can probably hear the horns in the background, and there's quite a few people up here at the stoplight, and I'll show some of those people here shortly. But it's just, the community outreach here seems pretty incredible. But
yes, there was initially on the Facebook post that was made for the peaceful protest that's being held today, there was over 250 people interested and over 30 that were definitely coming.
Wow.
You know, that's just individuals themselves. That's
and this is a very small town, guys.
It's very small. And that's not even including like the family members of those 250 that had said they wanted to come, or the churches that she had went to and had donated throughout the family's difficult time. You know, it's just an incredible amount of love and support that the county and just the town itself has really outreached to the family, and even like the close friends that people would claim as family as well. You know, I think it's difficult having to drive through that part every day, and then me being with her son as well, seeing the trials and tribulations that all of us are going to have to go through, even just living in that general area anymore. That you can't get on social media and relax like most people do nowadays, with, you know, social media being such a huge platform nationwide, without seeing a picture of her mom or our mom, the town's mom at this point. I mean, she was just, like I said again, I'll just keep saying, such a godly woman. You could feel the love just by being around her. She made sure everybody was happy. and cared for, regardless of their situation.
Well, obviously, Debbie seems like she was a huge part of this community. She was very involved with the churches and everything else through here. Um, but this whole situation is just absolutely insane. And this video is really just to get this information out that this situation is happening here in what county is this? Hampshire County?
Yeah, it's Hampshire County, West
Hampshire
Virginia.
County, West Virginia.
In the town of Romney.